الصلاة والسلام عليك يا
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alright, so I told you it won't be so long, didn't I? See? Alright, so I wanted to show you 2 years ago when we were, the people wonder why they want to go on this journey, and people often say, should I go? Shouldn't I go? What am I going to get from it? Do I have time? Do I have money? Oh, financial crisis is coming. I need to save my money and stuff like this. So I normally like to start my presentation with one of the most beautiful pictures that you can ever imagine. Imagine yourself on the day of Arafah at the time of Maghrib. So this is when the day is just completed, the sun is setting, and you are on the day of Arafah. You have just completed an entire afternoon with Allah Azza wa Jal. There is no time or place better or feeling than this. And 2 years ago the brother took this photo. You need some more chairs? Took this picture, and it is still one of the most beautiful pictures for me. And I call it a perfect moment in time. Just turn the lights on. I just want them to see this picture. We can turn it back on again. This is taken from the front one. Alright, that's better. Can you see that? This is the mountain of Arafah, and that's the sunset there. It's just an amazing picture. Now, have a look at that. Would you like to be there?
Inshallah.
Remember, your invitation is written, and only selected people gets the pleasure of being there. So, here's your chance, brothers and sisters. For those who are thinking, stop thinking. For those who are wondering, stop wondering. You need to go. Alright, so the months of Hajj. Okay, I'm sure if I tested you on these months, we'll all probably fail, because we would know January, February, but we don't know the Islamic months, right? So the months of Hajj are actually these last three: Shawwal, Dhul Qa'dah and Dhul Hijjah. These are referred to as the months of Hajj. But the days of Hajj are all in the last month of the year. Dhul Hijjah is the last month of the Islamic calendar. And the 5-6 days of Hajj are all in Dhul Hijjah. So the 8th of Dhul Hijjah, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th and 13th of Dhul Hijjah, these are actually the days of Hajj. And when is it this year? So according to the calendar, now we're not talking about the moon now, we're talking about the current calendar in Saudi Arabia. The 8th of Dhul Hijjah, the first day of Hajj, will be Friday, the 4th of November, inshallah. So the Arafah day, inshallah, will be 9th of Dhul Hijjah, Saturday, the 5th of November. Now once again, because Arafah is so close to Friday, there's lots of speculation. Oh, are they playing with the dates? Are they playing with the moon? Have they really got the moon? Have they seen the moon? If you think Ramadan is a problem, you'll see all the stories you get from Hajj. Because people are wishing for Hajj to be on the Friday, for the night to be on the Friday. The 10th of the Hijjah, Eid day, Sunday the 6th of November. Brothers and sisters, for those who are not going to Hajj, Eid is on Sunday or Saturday. So you don't even have to worry this year, because it can either be Saturday or Sunday. For taking vacation, whatever. So Eid for the people here will be on one of those days, inshallah. The first day of Tashriq, Monday the 7th of November. The second day of Tashriq, Tuesday the 8th of November. And the last day of Tashriq, Wednesday the 9th of November. Right? So those are the Hajj days for this year, inshallah. So they can move one day that way or one day this way. So it can move all one day up or one day down. You won't know until when? No. You will not know the answer to that question until the 3rd of the Hijjah, which is going to be when? So the 8th of the Hijjah is Friday, 4th of November. That means the end of October, when you're in Makkah or Medina already. They'll announce it. They only announce it 1 or 2 days after the 1st.
Why is the mystery?
Okay, I was waiting for that. So 2 things. As soon as we leave Australia, I want you to remember 2 things. Once you get to Jeddah, into Saudi Arabia, there are 2 questions you do not ask. One is why, and 2 is how long it will take. Because there's no answer to either of those. The answer to the why question, there's no answer. The question as to how long it will take, there's no answer. Alright, so when you get there, don't even think about asking those 2 questions, because you'll drive yourself crazy by asking why. When you come back, you can sit there and speculate and work out the whys. I've been doing this for 20 years and I still don't have the answers to the why. Like, why would they take 2 to 3 days to announce it? I don't know. So we just try to work out some logic in our head and to make ourselves happy with that logic. You'll see many things that you go, why this, why that? Just find some logical reason in your head to make yourself happy, because there are no real reasons to some of the stuff. Maybe somewhere somebody has some logic, but to us, there's normally not logic to some of the things. And how long things take depends on many aspects. So when you get to Jeddah, there is no rush. Where are you going? There's no rush. Relax. That's where the Asian goes and gets your stuff organized. You just relax, take it easy. You don't have absolutely no rush. We tell our people in our group, if you ask me how long, I'm fining you. $10 a time if you ask me how long it takes. So, these dates. Sisters, I want you to pay special attention to these dates. I want you to go home and I want you to make sure you work out from this day backwards and from this day forward. So, now, for those who booked your flights, when are you coming back?
November 18.
November 18?
Coming back.
Coming back from Hajj. So Wednesday the 9th of November, so you are actually there another week or so after that, right? Who's coming back soon after this? 10, 11, 12, right?
Yeah,
Right. You're going by yourself or with your wife? With your wife?
Yeah.
Okay, so sisters, you know when are you coming back? Yeah, 10th, 11th, 12th. You must perform Tawaf al-Ifadah. This is a pillar of Hajj. So you need to work out your menstruation cycle. Today. To work out if you will have your menstruation in any of these days. So, an example. If your menstruation starts there on the 7th, and it normally lasts a week, and you're leaving on the 10th, are you going to make it? You're not going to make it. So you have 2 options. 1, you have to wait. Or 2, you have to arrange whatever you need to arrange. But you need to know. Because there's no sense getting there and panicking because it's too late. You can't change your booking. So it's very important that you plan and make sure that you've taken care of that. Very, very important, brothers and sisters.
So in relation to that, would it be possible to use contraceptive pills before to
Some of the scholars say yes, others say no. So that's why I'm just telling you, make some arrangements for whatever you do. If it's safe for the lady and stuff, most of the sisters do. To be honest, most of the sisters do.
That tablet just postpone it.
Yeah, take a tablet, postpone it. They can adjust it, they know. They adjust it, either shift it. For instance, what I do, why I tell you to do it now, okay, is because you can actually work it out. Now let's say for the sister it falls right smack bang there, or there. This is the worst day it can come. This is the worst day. This day here, because if it starts here, that means you have this whole week here, right? Now if the sister is regular and it comes here, she can do something to just move it earlier or later, even by delaying by 1 or 2 days, just to get Tawaf al-Ifadah done. That's the most important thing, get Tawaf al-Ifadah done. Alright? So some sisters delay it only by 1 week, or 1 day or 2 days. Worst case scenario, in Saudi Arabia they have you can go to the chemist there, they have a tablet that stops it just like that, 1 or 2 days, gone. But not everybody can take it. They sell it over the counter. They want, by the way, for the doctors, you know, you've been. They sell medicine over the counter. I can go and buy antibiotics and whatever I want, my life's pleasure there, and go and buy. And the doctors go, how is this possible? How is this possible? The question is, why? Why? Remember, there's no answer to the why. Right, got that? Okay. How many of you actually realize that Hajj is a duty that we owe to Allah? Most of us know, or all of us should know, that it's the pillar. It's the 5th pillar. But actually very few of us realize that besides that, it's a duty that we owe unto Allah. And how do we know that it's a duty? In Surah Al-Imran, Allah says, and Hajj to the house is a duty that mankind owes to Allah. So if I say to you, something is a duty, what does it mean?
Something expected.
Something expected for you. If you say that it is my duty towards my father to pick him up every morning, to take him to the mosque or something, it's a duty, it's expected. So it's a responsibility, it's a duty. So Allah tells us, it is a duty we owe to Allah to perform our Hajj. So yesterday a brother was asking me, he said, look, when I've got money, but I like to get married, but I also want to go for Hajj. Which one do I do? Married? Hajj? Hajj? Sisters, married or Hajj? Hajj? The question I asked him was, do you have anybody in mind? Have you lined up anybody? No. Doesn't it? So go for Hajj. So, like, it's not like he's already thought of somebody, he's got somebody in mind, he's got his mum to look for, whatever. You know, so I said, go for Hajj.
What's the other way around?
Pardon?
What if it's the other way around?
What if it's the other way around? Then it's a tough call. For instance, if he's already got somebody lined up and stuff like this, it all depends on the situation. He needs to go to the sheikh and explain the situation. Now, if he needs the money for now, look at this, what we do today. Because we make our marriages so elaborate, if he had, say, 10,000, or let's say he even had 20 grand ready, which meant he could get married and go for Hajj, right? With that money. But with the elaborate weddings we have these days, could he get married and go for Hajj? No. So the best thing he would do is say, okay, I'll get married and go, if he can afford it. But let's say he only had 10,000, Hajj is 7,000, then it's basically based on his circumstance as an individual. Can he wait? Can't he wait? If he goes for Hajj, is it going to bother him all the time? How desperate is he to get married? All of those aspects. So it's not a straight answer. It depends on the individual. Alright, brothers. When Allah Ta'ala gave us the instruction and invited us to Hajj, Prophet Ibrahim. Last week I did a talk to non-Muslims about Hajj. And when I explained to them that the whole Hajj is actually based on Prophet Ibrahim, they were amazed. They were actually amazed. because to them everything is about Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. So when I explained the story with Ismail, Prophet Ibrahim, they were just amazed. I had 10 minutes to speak. My speech went for half an hour and all the questions was to me. Because what I did, I took the opportunity to talk about the 5 pillars, because the talk was about the reasons people go for pilgrimage. And believe it me, brothers, you cannot imagine the ni'mah that Allah has given us. Everybody else talked about the reason they go to this one, and they go visit this grave, and they go here, and they go there. But Islam was the only religion represented that could say that we go for a purpose that Allah has given us. So this is some of the ni'mah that Allah gives us. So Allah gave to Prophet Ibrahim and said to him, and proclaim to mankind, Hajj, mankind. They will come to you on foot and every lean camel. They will come on every distant mountain highway to perform Hajj. You will see this ayah in action during Hajj. When you look at the people, you actually see this ayah coming alive in front of you. Now, brothers, during Hajj, one of the most important things is, it is the biggest event. It's how many people? 2.5 to 3 million people come every year. But it is still the most individual event that you can imagine. It's between you and Allah. But what happens is, like Ramadan, how many people know the hadith about sighting of the moon? I'm sure all of you know the hadith about sighting the moon, right? Because you've read it in the emails, you've talked, you've argued at your mosque, that you have to sight the moon with the naked eye. Everybody knows this hadith. And they only know this hadith in Ramadan. That's all they know. So Hajj is just as bad. During Hajj, you get everybody has an opinion. And everybody will teach you and tell you what to do and how to do things. So in every camp, there's at least 5 scholars. And you turn to everybody will give you a fatwa and a ruling of what you can do. And it's more confusing for you. And the other thing about Hajj is sometimes so tiring and difficult that you will take any fatwa. Any ruling will come. Say, okay, if you make tawaf on the roof, we can only make 3. It's bigger, so we'll only make 3. You'll accept it. Say, okay, do we have to stay in Mina? No. What madhab? People change their madhabs left, right and center during Hajj. Oh, I'm Shafi today, khalas. Because Shafi allows me to go. Oh, Hanafi says you don't have to stay in Mina. Okay, I'm Hanafi today, because I'm tired. This is what people do. The most amazing thing that people do during Hajj. So what's the answer, brothers and sisters? If I'm confused or uncertain about a matter in Hajj, where do I go for my knowledge? So the next few slides, I want to show you where to go. You will actually be amazed that almost all the rules of Hajj is actually in the Quran. Step by step, the rituals of Hajj is actually in the Quran. And I'm only going to play for you a few of the ayahs, just to show you that if there's any doubt, go back to the original source. This is Surah Al-Baqarah, ayah 196 to 200.
وَأَتِمُّوا الْحَجَّ وَالْعُمْرَةَ لِلَّهِ فَإِنْ أُحْصِرْتُمْ فَمَا اسْتَيْسَرَ مِنَ الْهَدْيِ.
Tamattu? Right, so you'll find in your Hajj people argue about they performed Umrah already, and then they want to go to Medina, and then they come in the Ihram, they go to Azizah, they said I'm Ifrad now. And then you ask them, what is the main purpose of you going around this circle of argument? Because in Ifrad you don't have to perform the sacrifice. Right? If you look there, it says, whoever performs the Umrah in the months of Hajj. What were the months of Hajj? Shawwal, Dhul Qa'dah and Dhul Hijjah. The first thing you'll do when you get to Saudi is perform Umrah. So that means you performed Umrah in the months of Hajj. So you automatically tamattu. No matter what you do, you automatically tamattu. This is in the Quran. This is not made up or anything. This is in the Quran. On the top there it says, perform properly. Properly. What does properly mean? To do it the right way. How many ways are there? How many times the Prophet performed Hajj? One? Sure. How many times the Prophet performed Hajj? Three? Can I have a higher bidder? Not sure? Sisters? Still awake? The Prophet performed Hajj only once. Only once. Look at the wisdom of that in itself. So if I do something one time, if I move my hand like that once only, and I say do the same, how many different ways can you do it? It's only one way. So Prophet ﷺ performed Hajj once, one way. So there is only one way, brothers and sisters. Don't try to cheat yourself, deviate. There is only one way to perform the Hajj. There is no two ways. There is no 3 or 4 interpretations. There is only one. So we're going to try and teach you today what is that one way, and you need to stick to that way as close as you possibly can. Other than that, you are wasting your money. That's ayah 196. Sorry.
The Hajj is in the well-known month. So whosoever intends to perform the Hajj there, then he should not have sexual relations. Nor to have sin, nor to speak unjustly during the Hajj. And whatever what you do, be sure Allah knows it. And take a provision with you for the journey. But the best provision is piety and righteousness. So fear me, O men of understanding.
Is this thing making a noise because I'm standing in a different place, or if I...
Maybe the battery is very low.
Alright. Then he should not have sexual relations with his wife, nor commit sin, nor dispute unjustly. The first one, brothers, for those who are going with their wives, don't panic. It only means during the Hajj days. It doesn't mean the whole journey. Right? So it just means when you're in state of ihram. But the next one says, no dispute unjustly during Hajj. One of the most amazing things during Hajj is people become very argumentative. And especially us Australians, we like to argue. Because we'd like to believe we paid a lot of money. So we always want to know, what did I get for what I've paid for? And they argue about the smallest things. And I said, look, I paid you. So this is what you need to get out of your system, brothers and sisters. That Allah orders you, do not dispute unjustly. Now that doesn't mean if you are unjustly treated or you didn't get what you asked for, doesn't mean that. But choose the time. Choose the time when you want to have a discussion. Don't have an argument. So what we normally do, I'll give you a tip. I'm going to give you a few tips today. What we normally do as guides and take people, when we want to give you any bad news, we wait for you to be in ihram, then we give you bad news. So, you know brother, we promised you this, but we have some bad news for you. So then you can argue with me because you're in ihram, right? And if you want to argue, I'll just say you're in ihram, brother. Yeah. Haji, take it easy, you're in ihram. So what's the answer to that? You say to me, don't worry, when I'm finished with my umrah, I'm coming back and we'll talk about it when I'm out of ihram. Right? So don't dispute unjustly. Keep that in mind, brothers and sisters. If you're normally an argumentative person, keep that in the back of your mind and try and change that during this journey. We have people that argue with us from day one. From the time we leave here, they're busy arguing with us. So they haven't given us permission just to sacrifice these guys on the 10th of Dhul Hijjah. So try to think about how you're going to change your way. So that's ayah 197. And what happened to my thing now? Ayah 198 to 200.
There is no sin on you if you seek the bounty of your Lord during pilgrimage by trading. Then when you leave Arafat, remember Allah at al-Mash'ar al-Haram, and remember Him as He has guided you, and those you were before of those who were astray. Therefore, you must from the place which all the people depart, and ask Allah for His forgiveness. Truly Allah is oft forgiving, most merciful.
If I electrocute myself while I'm standing here, just...
Accomplish your rituals. Remember Allah as you remember your forefathers, or with a far more remembrance. But of mankind there are some who say, Our Lord, give us your bounty in this world, and for such there will be no portion in the hereafter.
Right, this is just, can you see the detail of the Hajj instructions? Now I'm going to give you 2 tips here from this ayah. Look at the first one, 198. It says, there is no sin on you if you seek the bounty of your Lord. Then when you leave Arafah, remember Allah. When you leave Arafah, remember Allah. Tip number 1. Because when we leave Arafah, most of the time everybody's busy getting on a bus, arguing on the bus, queuing up, who's going first, who's going second. Allah gives you a tip here. When you leave Arafah, remember Allah. So what you need to do is, at that time when you're leaving, you need to make dhikr. Remember Allah. This is a point where you can get more than what others can. So at those moments, remember those little moments where you can get better than most of us do. So when you have accomplished your manasik, tawaf, staying at Arafah, Muzdalifah, remember Allah. Allah is telling you again where to remember Allah. So this is like little tips Allah gives you in between all of the manasik, that Allah tells you, remember me at these points. If I say to you, when we're going somewhere, meet me here and I'll give you some money. I'll give you $1 million every time I say meet me at the particular point. You're going to remember where to meet me, right? Allah gives you all of these tips in between, say where to remember Allah, because this is the places where people forget. They're busy with other things. Then, at the last part of the ayah says, Our Lord, give us your bounty in this world, and for such there is no portion in the year after. So, Allah says to you, Our Lord, give us the bounty in this world, and Allah says there's nothing for in the year after. Who can tell me why? You're asking Allah to give you the bounty of this world, and Allah says there's nothing for you in the year after. Why? The answer is in the next ayah. No, it's not. It's not there. The next ayah in the Surah Baqarah says, رَبَّنَا آتِنَا فِي الدُّنْيَا حَسَنَةً وَفِي الْآخِرَةِ حَسَنَةً وَقِنَا عَذَابَ النَّارِ. What is the meaning of this ayah? Oh Allah, give us the good of this world, the good of the year after, and save us from the fire of Jahannam. Now brothers and sisters, tell me who of us can find a more profound dua and can think that there's anything more that you can ask for than these 3 things. What more can you ask for? Give us the best of this world, the best of the year after, and save us from the fire of Jahannam. The reason the Prophet Allah says in the first ayah, for those who say, رَبَّنَا آتِنَا فِي الدُّنْيَا, they will only get the dunya because they are not asking for the akhirah. So you don't ask just for the second car, the big house, the beautiful wife, the children, because you're only asking dunya now. Because if you're not asking about akhirah, you don't believe in akhirah. So that's what Allah says, if you do not ask for akhirah, you will only get dunya. And this is the journey where you really, really have to ask about akhirah. Oh Allah, save us from the fire of Jahannam and grant us what? Jannah, what? Jannatul Firdaus ala. The Prophet ﷺ said, when you ask for the best. If you want a car, why ask for a Hyundai? Anybody drive a Hyundai? A Toyota? Ask for a Mercedes, ask for the best. So Prophet ﷺ said, when you make dua, ask for Jannatul Firdaus al-A'la, the best, the highest love in Jannah. Don't ask just for Jannah. Ask for the highest in Jannah. Any questions? Those are just a few ayahs I have quite a lot of them, but it takes too long to play them through and otherwise. But just to give you a feel of how many instructions is actually in the thing. People argue sometimes about when to slaughter, when to sacrifice. It says there clearly, and do not cut your hair until the animal has reached its place of sacrifice. So the tafsir in the rules of all of that is there.
But how can just one small question, this
Sure.
one, because this is always a grey area.
Yeah.
We usually used to wait until we get a message from the abattoir that the sacrifice
has been done.
Is this what we should do?
No, I'll come to that point. The brother's asking, should we wait until you get the call from Shawkat to say that my sheep has been done? Two things. Shawkat has no idea. Shawkat will tell you it's been done and it hasn't been done. Because they are cutting over 1 million sheep. And when is Muhammad's sheep going to get done? Nobody knows. And I'm going to answer that for you later in the thing. The answer is simply, the answer is no. I am talking about some people actually do their sacrifice before Hajj. Before Hajj. Because why? It is easier and it is cheaper. Does your package include the Hajj, the sacrifice? Does the package include the sacrifice?
Yeah.
It does? You know that bit? Alright. Yep. Okay. Now, I'm going to show you, for those who haven't been before, how many of you actually have the Adhan clock, the Al-Fajr clock at home? You have the Al-Fajr clock? You know the Al-Fajr clock? The Adhan that's on there. That's the one of, for me, the most beautiful Adhan ever. If you stand inside the Haram, normally on a Thursday and a Friday, the brother who makes the Adhan on that clock makes the Adhan inside Makkah. And if you stand on the Haram, oh, you know what? This thing's not plugged on. There's no power here. If you stand inside the Haram, and you stand on the tiles or on the roof, one of the most beautiful things in the Makkah and Medina, the sound system is unlike this one, or any mosque you can ever find. The sound system is just amazing. No money spared in the sound system. And you'll never hear any crackling or anything like this. And when that imam, that muaddin makes the adhan, it reverberates through your body. It actually just goes through your body and you just stand, and it's one of the most beautiful times ever. So if you have the clock, I'm going to play for you that adhan across some of the scenes of Makkah. The reason being is, when you're a child, you have these memories and moments about things that you remember in your life. So now that when you hear that adhan, it's just an adhan from a clock. But if you've been to Makkah and you've actually experienced it live, back, that adhan clock has a new meaning. Because every time that adhan goes, it takes you back into that moment where you were in Makkah. Even after so many times I've been to Makkah, I still cannot get over that adhan. That is still for me one of the most beautiful moments, and it always takes me back and says, it is all worth it. All the trouble is worth it. Before I forget, brothers and sisters, if you remind me before we finish today, I would like to finish on a particular story for you today to put the whole thing in perspective for you. But just in case we forget, just remind me, I need to tell you a story about an incident that happened to us last year. Okay? Inshallah. Alright, so I call this quickly a journey, the journey of a lifetime. This is truly, truly a journey of a lifetime. To give you an idea where we are, or where you're going to be, this is the Haram area, this is Makkah. The green part is the Haram of Makkah. And then there's the Haram, which is the mosque itself. And that's where Arafah is in relation to Makkah. That's where Mina is. And Muzdalifah is there. And Azizia is actually just here. So if you want to know the distance of Azizia from the Haram, that's where it is. Next to Jeddah. But just to give you a feel of the map. Ready to go? It always gives me, I can just get on a plane tomorrow. Just get on a plane to just go there and be in front of the Kaaba. And if you come there for the first time, brothers and sisters, you cannot imagine. For your whole life you prayed towards the Kaaba. You always had the vision of it and stuff. And then finally you're going to be there and you're just going to stand in front of it. And you're going to say, I can't believe I'm here. Many times we go. One year we were very lucky. We got there at Fajr time, just before Fajr. And it was like 45 minutes before Fajr. Took the whole group down, all the sisters and brothers, and we managed to. I took the group right down to the front part here, right down in here. Normally we don't go in there because normally very crowded. But I thought, let me take my chances. We went down there, and we got right at the bottom. And there was hardly anybody there. It wasn't full at all, and we just stood there. And the Kaaba was there right in front of us. And for the sisters, it's very hard to get there. So it's actually quite a unique experience for the sisters to get there that time of the morning. And everybody just stood there. And normally I just give way, just sit down one side, and let those coming for the first time just enjoy and experience the moment. So don't take your books. Don't take your dua books. Don't take anything with you for the first time. Because I want you to go in there and experience the moment. And really, really just take it in. Because if you're going to have the book, you're going to try and concentrate what you need to read and stuff like this, and you're actually going to lose that moment. It is one of the most beautiful moments you can ever experience, is to finally stand there in front of the Kaaba. The sisters, everybody was standing there, and I looked around and everybody was crying. Absolutely everybody was in tears. Just from happiness. And then we prayed Fajr, we sat down, and I told the sisters, okay, we'll wait till the crowd dies. Nobody wanted to move. The sisters wouldn't get up. Nobody wanted to go anywhere. They just wanted to sit there. And they could not imagine or feel the blessings they had just to be there, just to sit there. Half an hour later, they said, look, we've got to go now. We've got to perform our Umrah. But that is the beauty about this journey, brothers and sisters. It is a journey of a lifetime. You cannot compare this journey to no other journey. It is the journey of the Hajj, journey of a lifetime. It is worth every single dollar you paid for it. As a matter of fact, you haven't paid enough for it to go there, to this journey, and undertake this obligation we have to our Lord. So once you've paid your money, feel happy and just go with it. For every dollar you've spent, you will not be asked about it. Think about that. Oh, I keep pressing the wrong thing today. So what do we have here? This is the Sa'i area. Some pictures of the Sa'i where we do in Safa and Marwa. So what happened at the Sa'i, sisters? What happened here? Between Safa and Marwa, we run from here, from this hill to the other one, and there's green lights. You see those green lights there? That's where the men actually run. So what is the historical significance of Safa and Marwa? Hajar, when Hajar was looking for water for her son, which son? What's her name? What's his name? Ismail. How come they were there, brothers and sisters? Remember, we're reenacting the life and the story of Ibrahim. Ibrahim took his wife Hajar and his son Ismail and left them in this barren valley, in the middle of the desert. Just imagine for a moment, let's just take this in context for a moment. Hajar says to Ibrahim, Ya Ibrahim, why have you left us here? And he continues to walk. He says, Ya Ibrahim, why have you left us here? And he continues to walk. He says, Ya Ibrahim, is this the instructions from Allah? He said, yes. He said, Wallah, if this is from Allah, He will not forsaken us. Imagine, in the Iman, the level of Iman, the whole story is not just a story. The whole Hajj is meant to us to really live and be able to be like that. Can we ever lift our iman to that level? Could you ever lift your iman to a level where something like that happens to you and you say, if Allah wills, this is what it's been? We can try to get close or get near it. This is the goal of part of the Hajj, is to lift your iman. If you left your wife too long at the shopping, she complains, she's going to argue with you. Let alone if you left somebody with the baby in a place where there's nothing, and she says, if Allah wills, we will be covered. So what happens? Ibrahim leaves them. Hajar runs from up the hill of Safa. She thinks she hears something. She runs from Safa to Marwa 7 times, just looking for water, or see if she can find somebody just to get water for her son Ismail. What then happens? What happens then?
Something like
Ismail is kicking his feet in the sand. An angel Jibreel comes with his wing, and the water comes out. So Hajar runs back and she closes it like this, and she says Zamzam, Zamzam. She actually protects it, like she tries to close it. And this is where the word Zamzam comes from. Prophet ﷺ said, if the mother of Ismail did not do that, the Zamzam would have been a river today. But the well of Zamzam, the Zamzam itself is a miracle. Now today, to tell you where we've gone, we offer people, pilgrims, Zamzam. And they say, what do I want to do with the Zamzam? So do you want petrol? So now we offer petrol or Zamzam. You know, petrol is so expensive. People say, I'd rather take the petrol home. People, brothers and sisters, they don't even understand. Last year, I had 10 liters of Zamzam with me. 70 liters of Zamzam I brought home. I lived there for 15 years. I used to drink Zamzam every single day, and I still bring as much. Nobody wants Zamzam? I'll just grab it. Will you check it in, brother? Yeah, but I'll take it from you in Sydney. So I had 7 times 10 liters of Zamzam because people don't want it. People say, what am I going to do with the water? Can you imagine? Are you bringing Zamzam back? The water of Zamzam, we still drink it now. During Ramadan, we still drink Zamzam. The miracle of the water itself.
Why do you bring certain?
Because the Hajis don't want the Zamzam. So I say to the brother, okay, you don't want it, can you check it in? Because in Saudi they only allow you 10 liters, right? So let's say the brother here say he doesn't want his Zamzam. I say to him, okay, no problem, I'll carry it for you, I'll take it to the check-in and everything. Just make sure it gets checked in under his name. He's done, he doesn't have to do anything. When I get to Sydney, I pick it up and I go home with it. The point I'm trying to make is that we don't even understand the value of Zamzam. The Prophet ﷺ said, Zamzam is what you drink it for. What does it mean? When I was a kid, our uncles and parents used to tell us this story, and the way I understood it was that if you drink Zamzam and you feel like chicken, it tastes like chicken. Or if you feel like chocolate, it tastes like chocolate. Because my interpretation of that was that it's what you feel for. But Prophet ﷺ said, Zamzam is what you drink it for. Wallahi, there are people who've been to Hajj with incurable cancer. And drank Zamzam and came back completely cured. This is the example of what it means. Zamzam is what you drink it for. But you have to believe. Your iman has to be that strong. So what it means is that if you have a sore throat and you drink the Zamzam to heal your sore throat, it will heal your throat. That's the interpretation of the meaning of that. They had a few years ago, they had engineers coming to Saudi to determine the location of the Zamzam. They worked out that the Zamzam has 3 sources. It comes from 3 different directions into this well. But they could not find the source of the Zamzam. Why not? This is from Allah. This water, some of these people say that during Ramadan and Hajj, the well of the Zamzam actually rises. Now imagine for so many years they drink, if during the Olympics games they think, where are we going to get water for people? 2 million to 3 million. In Ramadan now they'll have over 2 million people in Makkah. in Ramadan. And now from now until end of Hajj, 4-5 million people every single day drinking Zamzam. It doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't get any less. So that's the story of Hajj. So the Zamzam, the well is not actually here. The well is right near the Kaaba. You don't get to see the well anymore. They've closed it. This is the Mount Safa. Why do we start at Safa? The Sa'i starts at Safa. Why do we start there? Why don't we start at Marwa? How do we know Hajj started there? The ayah says, Inna Safa wal Marwa. Prophet ﷺ said, I begin with what Allah begins. So the assumption is that that's where Hajj started. Just some history, so when you're there, you actually understand what. There's also Safa, the Sa'i area. This is the bottom part. Now the Sa'i area, I will show you later as well, has 5 areas now. It has the basement, the ground floor, the first floor, and 2 roof levels. 2 roof levels it has. So there's plenty areas for you to perform the Sa'i. Okay, who can tell me what is this? Hajar Aswad, the black stone. Why is it black? It used to be white. It's a stone from Jannah that used to be white. And Prophet ﷺ said it's black due to the sins of the Mecca. So what people think, when they kiss it, it's actually sucking out the sins from out of them. Is that what it does?
No.
Alright, so people have funny thoughts. So what does the Maqam Ibrahim, do you have to kiss it? So if you're going, the time you go, you're not going to get near. The sisters don't even go near there to try and kiss the stone. Even if you tried, the bad news is that inside this round thing here, there are only 8 small pieces of the original stone inside that piece. So you can spend all this time, hurt 10 hajjis, hurt yourself, go in there and still kiss nothing. So if you are able to, which is very unlikely, then do. But don't go and hurt other people. This is the Yamani corner. This is on the other side of the black stone. Who can tell me what's the Maqam Ibrahim? This is the Maqam Ibrahim. It is a station of Ibrahim, right in front of the Kaaba. But what is the historical significance of Maqam Ibrahim? So, if you look at the thing of scaffolding, they said this was the scaffolding of Ibrahim and Ismail when they built the Kaaba. Ibrahim and Ismail, Prophet Ibrahim and Ismail, Allah's peace and blessing be upon him, built the Kaaba. Now you go there and what people do, they go, wow, it must have been big because the scaffolding is really far away. You know, this thing moved a couple of times, and even in the floods it moved, and this is where it ended up. This is where Allah wanted for it to be. So this is where we pray the 2 rakats if possible as well. Now inside this gadget, so what do you do with this thing? Do you rub it? Do you touch it? Do you kiss it? Do you look at it? What do we do here? You only pray 2 rakats here of the tawaf. Other than that, you don't touch it, you don't kiss it, you don't rub it. As a matter of fact, during Hajj, with the exception of the Hajar al-Aswad, there's nothing else to rub, touch or kiss. Simple rule. There's nothing. So sometimes what people do, they see everybody rubbing in on the Kaaba and stuff, and you look around, you go, I'm the only one. I better rub and kiss as well. So, because that's what people do. It's a mentality where people think that's the right thing to do. So the rule is, there's nothing to kiss, rub or touch. Except kissing or touching the Hajar al-Aswad. Now inside there is actually a thing, like a sculpture thing. And what is that? Who can tell me what that is? That's the footprints of Ibrahim. Anybody here sells shoes? Anybody here sells shoes? No? Nobody sells shoes? Okay, what size is that? 12? 12? What do you think? Size 12? What do you think, sir? What size, sir? Does it matter? That's the point. It doesn't matter what size it is. So don't stand there and argue with the people what size the shoe is. What people do, they stand there and they argue what size this is. You've seen it now. Make up your mind, size 12. Everybody go size 12. Just 12, just 12, just 12. I know. Right, so basically you don't touch, kiss or anything, it's got absolutely no significance. The size or whatever, just don't do all of those funny things there. Mina. What happened in Mina? See that picture, what Mina looks like? Forget it, doesn't look like that anymore. That's what it looks like now. It's not the Ku Klux Klan coming. These are fireproof tents. Anybody here smoke? Nobody's going to own up today because they're not going to have to go for a smoke break because it's Ramadan. But even if you wanted to test this, I take my word for it, they're fireproof. So don't test it. It is since the fire, 1993, it's 3 years ago. 93 I think, the fire. There was a fire in Mina on the 8th of Dhul Hijjah, the first day of Hajj. There was a fire in Mina. It burnt, it had the canvas tents, like the ones I just before. It's a canvas tent, and somebody was making they had these gas stoves, and people were cooking with it, and one of the gas stoves exploded, and one of those things explode, it just blows up, and it just ignited the fire. It burned 2 kilometers of tents with people in them. 2 kilometers of tents with people in them. If you read the story, if you were there on that year, Hajj is the closest to the day of Qiyamah. The similarities, the analogies of Hajj and the Day of Judgment is amazing. You will be in your 2 cloths, just the 2 cloths, you in front of your Lord. All of the aspects of that will remind you of the Day of Qiyamah. And that year truly, truly brought us. In Surah Al-Hajj, Allah talks about the earthquake on the Day of Qiyamah. And then the things, the similarities between that happened in that year and Hajj was just, and the Day of Qiyamah was just amazing. Allah says on that day, a nursing mother will forget to feed her baby. Can you ever imagine a mother forgetting to feed her baby? On that day they will. On this day, during the fire, husbands left wives, mothers left children, and everybody ran for their life. And that's what will happen on the Day of Qiyamah. There was a question asked later of one of the brothers. He said he had his wife and his mother, and he could only take one of them. The fire was coming. Who did he take?
Mother. He should take mother, but he will take wife.
Exactly. He took his wife, and his question was to the Shaykh after, who should I have taken? Which is his mother. But this is not a question you can just ask like that or do. This is it's like saying, which child will I let go, sort of a thing. So you wouldn't wish yourself or anybody to be in a circumstance like that. But that's what will happen on the Day of Qiyamah, brother. So the Hajj needs to remind you about these things. So when you look at these tents, when I see these tents, I always think about why these tents are there. Because they built them after that. Prior to that, there was always an incident. And I'll show you for the Jamarat as well. Every year, until 2000, people died at the Jamarat. Until they decided to rebuild it and do it properly. So that's Mina. I'll give you some idea of this has all been rebuilt. So that's an aerial view of Mina. Now, does your group advertise air-conditioned buses? Yeah. There you go. So, air-conditioned buses could mean anything. So you'll see a lot of this during Hajj. I'm only joking because they're recording this. I'm only joking. Actually, when we go to Makkah, we actually get the only buses we can get out of Mina. The brother was asking, do we get transport? So what we do is, we actually, in the middle of the night, we're going to try and get a bus. And the only bus we inevitably get is a bus like that. So one year we're standing there, and the bus like that turns up. So some of the people who have attended the seminar, and they're looking at me, and I'm going, there's the bus. They go, that's not the bus. There's the bus. And there's like 150 of us. How many think you can get in that bus? 200. You can put 200 in there, but it's only like 40 that can fit in there. So we said to the brothers, up on the top. And they go, you're not serious, sir. He said, if you want to go, you better go, because that's the only bus we have. And that's what happened. This is Masjid al-Khayf. What happened at this masjid? This masjid is in Mina. The Prophet ﷺ said, I prayed here and 70 prophets before me prayed here. Imagine this journey, brothers and sisters. Imagine you are in a place where history of mankind happened. Not history of Islam only, history of mankind. Ibrahim, Ismail. And Prophet ﷺ said he prayed here and 70 prophets before him prayed there. Now, this is Jamrah 1953. I want you to have a nice look at this picture and tell me what is unique or strange about this photo. No? Sisters? You find anything unique about that? 1953, they've been selling Coca-Cola. There's the Coca-Cola sign. So, drink it. Enjoy it. Don't stress about Coca-Cola. Because the Hajj is what they're going to do. Why are they selling Coca-Cola? Why is KFC here? Why is all these American things here? Why is American donuts here? Why are they selling Pepsi? Is the food halal? Habibi, you don't even ask that in Brisbane. You're right in front of the Haram in Makkah, you want to know if the KFC is halal. So what people do, you'll be amazed. And they argue about Coca-Cola. Every year, people argue about Coca-Cola. So I show you, Coca-Cola has been there since 1953, so just enjoy the Coke. I mean, whether I argue with the Coke, that's not the point. It's been there since 1953. So this is actually another thing, is that the Jamrah, this is how small it was way back then. And see how the people were just like, nobody was pushing each other. But as time went along, this is how it used to look after. This is the Jamrah. Then they built upstairs and downstairs, and that's what it looked like. So this is downstairs. So this was the most recent, 2000 onwards. Did you have this?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the Jamrah, and you can see this is where people actually died. They used to crush people against this room here, and you can see how these people are actually just going crazy and throwing stones and stuff like this. But alhamdulillah, the good news is, it is all over. What they've done, 2005, 2006, the Jamrah, the shaitan is bigger now. It's actually a big wall now. So somebody had a bright idea. Alhamdulillah. So you don't have to aim at that small little guy. You actually have all of this wall now to throw. And then in 2006, 2007, they even did one step better. They said, okay, what we're going to do, that's a night shot. You can see it's much easier to throw now. But 2007, they said they're going to build a Jamrah with 5 or 6 levels, with escalators and stairs and everything. You know, and yeah, great stuff. So what they were just planning to do was build a Jamrah that looks like this. So what they did 2007, they just flattened the whole place. They just demolished it all, completely demolished it, flattened it, including the big shaitan. And what did they do? They built this. So just to give you an idea, this is the old one, but just to give you an idea where the actual Jamrah is, the small one is there, the middle one is there, and the big one is there. So the actual physical location of it hasn't moved, right? But they flattened the entire structure, and they rebuilt it completely. And it's almost like walking into tunnels now. So wherever road you come from different roads comes into different levels of the Jamrah. You can actually now stroll to the Jamrah and have a one-on-one with the shaitan. You can actually, people with wheelchairs and strollers all go now because it's so easy. So easy. That proposal, that 7 is done. It's finished, completed. So for the last few years, we had absolutely no drama in the Jamara. So alhamdulillah, that trouble there is finished. Even the tunnels, where people used to die in the tunnels, none of that happens anymore because they police those tunnels 24/7. Make sure that nobody sleeps in there.